So I am watching the show Loot, Loot, um, on Apple, I think it is. And it's a really interesting, look at human relationships and how easy it is to get stuck in a situation where you're not living according to your values and you're being um, really treated without a lot of respect, and how hard it is to get out of those situations. And it's really nice timing that I'm watching this because I was um, reflecting earlier today on how there was a period of time where I was able to get some help through my first dialectical behavioral therapy class. A psychiatrist recommended it for me, and I went for 6 months. And it was the first time in my life that I had not felt actively suicidal. I had felt actively suicidal since I was about 11 or 12, and I was 35 when I took that class. And it was so startling to not have that active suicidality going on. And it was so incredible and empowering. But there were relationships at that time that weren't celebrating that with me. That I felt like my getting healthier was actually putting those relationships at risk. And because I still didn't have the connection with myself and my own capacity to find resources and get help, and because our culture celebrates staying in relationships or having relationships as the ultimate, um, I was unable to maintain my connection with that sense um, of building my life worth living that DBT had given me. And um, I stopped taking the class. I got um, more uh, more suicidal than I had been before even the class. Um, I was doing a lot of self harming, and I was really scared. And it took me another couple of years. Took me about 2 years before I was able to get back to it and able to stop begging for people to stay in my life. Stop trying to change myself so that they would. Um, and I really consider it a miracle that I was able to reconnect with DBT, and that I was able to I was attending some brain injury support groups, and I was recommended these glasses, this special kind of brain injury glasses and doctor, and it was going to cost $10,000. And I thought, there's no way. And on a whim, I applied for a credit card, and I got approved for $10,000, and I went ahead and I spent that $10,000 on that credit card, and it's the best decision I ever made in my life. It's like the riskiest, most not recommended decision, and I stopped begging, and I decided to go back to DBT to do the vision therapy and the glasses, and at that time, I was getting a lot of government assistance. I had all of our food was from the food pantry. I was going to my counseling at the local domestic violence program. So my counseling was free, my food was free through the local food pantry. I was getting fuel assistance, so my electricity was being paid for, and I borrowed a couple $1,000s from a friend to pay my first and last month's rent on an apartment. And I was able to get a part time job. So I started earning a little bit of money, but friends gave me gift cards to get gas. I often paid my rent by taking out cash advances on my credit card. Um, and I was living off fumes, and it wasn't super pretty. Um, but and it was uncomfortable. I could not buy a single thing. My kid had only used clothes and used toys from the local. We have a place called the Survival Center, and then a community program called the Bridge Resource Center, and we were able to get, when he needed a new pair of shoes, or when I wanted to pick out a toy for him, I would take him there. He was young, so he didn't really realize that they were free places, and it was extremely stressful. It was extremely stressful, um, and not always comfortable. But what was really a big deal was that I was I was building my life worth living, and I was the only person who had the key to my apartment. I used to walk around holding that key when I would get really scared. I remind myself that this was the new chapter of my life where I was the only one that was going to have the key to my apartment, and and it hasn't all gone perfect. There's been a lot of ups and downs, um, but I am incredibly grateful for the support that I've been given, and just reminded how extremely challenging it is to move forward when you're in a relationship that doesn't feel safe for you. How a lot of society will encourage us to stay in relationships. A lot of folks, still need you to prove that there's some sort of abuse, physical or emotional, for you to walk away from a relationship. But if you don't feel safe, you don't feel safe. There's nothing to prove. You don't have to stay. And I know there are less and less resources these days in terms of community resources, but in a few places there still are some resources, and there's some really incredible people doing the work of supporting folks and children who are going through housing insecurity, food insecurity, financial insecurity, and I just really celebrate and am cheering on anybody who goes through that, including my past self. I'm so incredibly grateful for the people and resources that supported me, and the community services that I tapped into. So many people are really hesitant to tap into community resources, even if they are available and are great. People are hesitant to call. People are hesitant to go and get that free food, to go and get those food stamps, to go and get I had food stamps for a long time too. Once I started working, I made too much to qualify for them, but I got every service that I could qualify for. And then the house that I'm living in now, I worked for 6 years with it's called the Community Development Council, with a program that helps people to sort out their credit, because I had really bad credit after all that, those years of living off of credit cards. They helped me figure out how to pay down my debt. They helped me figure out how to access all sorts of programs, and like I said, I got all my counseling for free, and I was getting my DBT and everything, and then I also was given access to financial courses, and I was all sorts of group therapy, really great resources that I was given, and over the course of 6 years, we worked on my credit, and I was able to qualify for a subsidy through the town to be able to get help with a down payment. And it has not been easy. And it may not be easy again. Life is not a promise. So I'm pretty stable right now, paying my bills. I've now been about 2 years off of all government assistance, 2.5 years, I think. I now paying for all my own food, paying for all my own heating, um, paying uh, paying for my insurance. I'm still on state insurance, but just because I'm self-employed, I'm paying for that insurance. Now I was getting all free health care as well, which was huge. So remarkable. And I live in a state with a ton of resources, and I'm so grateful to Massachusetts for that, because I still get help with my kids' health insurance. Still qualify for that, but just, this is just both just to send some love to people who feel like there's not any options or feel like they don't have the capacity to take the step away from a relationship that's not feeling good for them, and and a big thank you to those resources that are available, and a reminder that um, if you feel like you are not one of those people who gets the free resources, um, take a moment and check in with yourself, because they're there for you, and they'll tell you if you qualify or not, and you may not, um, but everyone deserves to feel safe and in their housing, and if you're not feeling safe, then um, I just like to think about it like on any given day, any one of us may get hurt, or have emotional thing come up where we're not able to work, and we're going to need to ask for help at that point. And so why would we look down on ourselves if that's right now, and why would we ask ourselves to continue living in a space or situation where we don't feel safe, or you don't even have to just if you don't want to, if you just don't want to be in a relationship, and the only reason you're staying in the relationship is financial, um, then that is a great reason to ask for help. And there are a lot of programs that can help. So it's not always easy, it's not always pretty, and it's going to be uncomfortable if you're getting um, government resources or community resources. Walking into that food bank, having to eat whatever they give you and not being able to pick anything out. I still just revel every time I go to the grocery store, um, that I can buy what sounds good to me. Um, it's a big deal. So, anyways, I love you, and if you're in that situation, I just want you to know that my heart is with you, and I'm sorry that you're going through it. And I, one of the things that the DV shelter told me in my very first appointment was this phrase: I know what I know. And even if everybody else thinks you're wrong, um, you know what you know, and that's good enough. Okay, love you.